Welcome back, my favorite gamers and developers. Today we're going to talk about data structures, more specifically nodes. Simply, a node is an object, and in that object there's a link somewhere that says the next node is here. And then from there's another link that says the next node is here, and we go on and on. Nodes don't have to be created in a solid or in a single linked list. They could be in very much a tree, or they can more look like a spider web. But if you want a crash course on data structures and nodes, I posted a link to a video that seemed like a pretty good crash course to further understand that. But in Fantasy Grounds, we don't exactly need to know how they're stored, we just need to know how to access them. And that's what I'm going to get into with today's video. Also at the end I had a small power surge, but I still covered everything that I meant to cover. In a future video, I'm going to show you my new dice template that I'm working on with these building blocks that I'm showing you today. The new dice template will be a way that you can open it up and shop for exactly the functionalities that you need your dice to do. And if this is a dice system for a popular game, you should be able to just pass this extension over to Damned, and maybe in a future release he might be able to absorb that into the MoreCore neighborhood dice set. So that's my awkward pitch to Damned. But we're here to learn about nodes, so let's dive in. The very first thing I want to do is start with actor. I know we could get some good information from that. So go ahead and load up your MoreCore _ node extension that we had from last time, and it's also included down below. Once we get this open, let's just see what we have in actor. So R actor. Load up the console, load up your character sheet, run the test. Down here at the bottom, copy this out. Alright, our actor. This has, we went over this last time, S-type PC, creature node, combat tracker node, and who we are. Great. So this and this piece of data is extremely valuable. Let's take this CT node and see what all is in it. So how do we find the node? Okay, so let's load up our handy dandy site, and you can find this link in the down below. And we are going to look up DB. In here, there are a lot of functions that are very helpful to traverse through nodes. One, you can create a node. You can delete children from the node. But what we're going to start with is find node. So let's find local node combat tractor actor. And what we're going to put in here is db.findNode, and our actor dot, what was it? SCT node. I didn't know if it was going to pop up. It would have been cool if it did. And let's just display it. Debug.console. All right. node. And what did this give us? It gave us a database node. Okay. So from here, we now need to see what is in that. So load up our handy dandy site. And what we need is GetChildren. Yep, this one. So we're just simply going to say, we're going to debug this. We're going to display it. Debug console dot get children. And we want to be able to see what we were calling. Reload this. Console character run. Let's see what we got as an output. All right, so with our get children, we got no wound equals database, some information. We got reach, database of information, for database of information, targets, a database of information. As you can see, there is a lot of information that is stored on the combat tracker, as we know. We see all of it right here. So what I want to do is I want to return, well, I'm going to do two things. I want to return this number 10, and I want it to increase it by 5. So after a lot of searching, I mean, you could guess maybe it's wounds. You could finally figure out that it's health. There's a better way to search than just guess and check, though that's actually not a terrible way. But you can actually go and load up the XML and traverse through that and see what that box when that box is first created. But I'm going to give you the answer. It's health that does this. So how do we affect health? Well, first, I'm going to create another file and call it CT names. And I'm doing this just so I don't have to split this out every time I want to figure this out. So I'm putting this off to the side. Well, let's grab the health. So our first step is create a name. Local. We'll call this car health. And we know that it's coming from the node CT actor. And what we need to do, so this was get children. This gives us a list of children. What we need now is we need get child. There's a few different get childs, but okay, so get child. And what get child needs is a string parameter. So get child, and we're just going to go over here, grab health, put it in here, and this won't work, but I just want to see what it does. Okay. So this is giving us, all right, so as expected, it just gave us the node. We already had that. We saw it right over here. I just wanted to show you that just going and grabbing that, all you're doing is secluding only this one piece of information out of the CT actor. So to simply get the health, we just need to add a get value. And it looks like we got it. Character health is 10. Now, as you could probably guess, to change this, all we need to do now is just increase it. In character health equals in character health plus, what do we say, 5? If we didn't, we were saying 5 now. And then we need to send it back into there. Node CT actor. Sorry, node CT actor dot get child health, just like we have above. The only difference is set value. And we're going to go ahead and put in this amount here. So we don't really need a debug because we should be able to see this. So let's see what happens. I mean, feel free to set up a debug if you want it, but we should be able to see this right on screen. Open up the character tracker. It has a 10. We click it, it now has 15. It pulled in 10 because that's what it was before. If I click it again, it's going to go to 20. Perfect, and it had the 15 because that's what it was before. So this is how we get and we set. Now let's move on to something a little bit more difficult. Let's grab the effects. So the effects are stored in a node right here. So we can see that they're in here. So let's just see what happens if we get value that. I don't know. Effects. Before we actually pull it, we're not exactly sure what it's storing it as. So I'm just going to use an X for now. I have a guess, but we shouldn't assume. And let's run it and see what we get. This actually might fail. No, it didn't. It returned a nil. So you can see it. It returns the nil. Okay, that makes sense. So we look here, and when we're looking at the effects, when we're looking at the effects list, it can't be one value. It can't possibly know what to send back. So obviously inside of effects, there must be more to this. So we're going to need some kind of looping to get to this. All right, let's put in local a actor effects. Sounds as good as anything. And we're going to set up that this is going to be some kind of array. And we are not entirely clear of what all this is going to return us, so let's just see what GetChildren does. Debug console. Get child effects get children. And honestly, I'm not sure if this is going to work. We might have to send this through some kind of loop to actually get us what we're looking for, but maybe. Looks like it got us something. Okay. Wow, I really didn't name it? Nope. See, this is why it's a good idea to always name your debug so you know what you're looking at. That way you're sure that what you grabbed was what you meant to grab. Anyways, we can still work with this. This some kind of database and some other kind of database. Great, so it sends us two things. Well, let's see what those two things are. I like to use a for loop for this. So we're going to say for, because we don't know exactly what these things are yet, I'm just going to call them AA and BB, because we know there's two things. In pairs, node ctActor dot get child. I should have just actually copied and paste. Oh well, live and learn. Effects dot get children. Do. And we just want to display. So debug console AA. Oops. Comma. BB. Yeah, I know, I could have typed it. I'm lazy. Let's see what we get. Okay. So, kind of surprised me a little bit. I was expecting to see more information. But, alright, so loop through twice. And AA is returning us an ID. Okay. That's probably how we might have to use that to find who we are. No. I get it now. I am willing to bet. If I open up this and I add a third one, that when I run console, I'm going to, oh, I'm sorry, when I run this, that I'm going to see three things now. Okay, so these are actually a list of each one of the events. I see. Okay, so let's actually pull them out. I don't really need to know the ID, but I do need to know what's in here. So let's get children on those things. bb.getChildren and see what this returns us. Okay, it looks like there's some useful information in here. So we have our GetChildren, and we have our source name. See, that's some kind of database. That's also some kind of database. Also some kind of database. Here we go. This is familiar to us. We've already done this before. So we did this before with CT names. Now we have what is in what is in the effects. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to bring this over here so we can not have to do that every time. And label seems like the thing that we're going to want. And duration's not a bad piece of information to have. So let's grab those two things. So in our actor effects that we've already established, I'm going to put actor effects, actor effect, whatever. We're going to look up for the label, and I want to be able to store it as something. I want to store it as some kind of number, so let me just go ahead and add a local in count. I would love to be able to just do plus plus like you can in some other languages. Anyways, and count. And that's what I want to call the storage. And we're going to grab, well, let's stop calling it BB. Let's call it something that's useful. Node actor effects. Node actor effects. Get child. Oops. Get child. Okay. And I want label. Get value. And want the same thing with duration. So duration here, duration here. All right, and let's see, after all that, what does actor effect give us? Oops. Okay, this looks good. So actor effect now holds all three of our effects. They're a little bit out of order, but that's okay. That's why we numbered and named them properly. So All right, label 2 and duration 2, bob effect 1, label 1, duration 1, bob effect 3, label 0, duration 0, bob effect 0. Let's just make sure that they're sticking with the right ones. So let's change on the combat tracker this to 1, this to 2, and this to 3. And that way we'll see bob effect 1 will be 1, bob effect 2 will be 2, so on and so forth. Just to make sure that they're not getting scrambled somehow, and we need to figure out a way to do that. Let's roll this console. Actually, let me reset my console, close and reopen it. Reroll. Go into here. All right, actor effect. Label 2, duration. All right, so bob effect 3, duration 1, 3, cool. Label 0, duration 0, bob effect 2, 2, duration 2, label 2, bob effect 1, and 1. Great. So now we're able to collect our effects. Oops, well, I guess that's what happens when you have a power outage. Anyways, what we were saying, that's how you can gather your effects into some kind of array. So we could use it later while we're trying to determine what we want to do with the dice. This will come in handy if you have an effect that has a keyword in it that you want to use. For instance, in a future video, I'm going to use the word explode. And when it sees that word in some kind of tag on an effect, it will know to explode dice when a certain parameter hits. It's kind of a handy way to be able to use things if you want to go further with it and give people cover, or if you want to give them difficulties, you can use that. You can also use the mod stack, which I will get into when we're talking about our dice video. But I hope this has been helpful, and I can't wait to see you next time. Until then, keep gaming and keep developing.